gotta say, you're handling this better than I thought.
Let's go! Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do.
I'm having a great
Finger flick.
You're allowed to show up.
This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills.
With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR.
No! No! Frig!
They're still up 2-1.
No! They're up 2-1. No! No!
Leafs lose 5-4 in overtime in a carnival in Florida. We're going to talk about that game at length because it was a carnival and so has the reaction to it been. But first, a game that's actually going my way. NHL Fantasy Stars. This is my new favorite game to play in these playoffs, and it is the official fantasy hockey game of the NHL and the NHLPA. Download NHL Fantasy Stars from the Apple Store or Google Play. It's free and it runs daily so you can join it anytime. I've already been getting a bunch of messages from people telling me they joined. Whether you want nostalgia or the thrill of ripping open a pack of new hockey cards, NHL Fantasy Stars is the game you want to play. You might remember from last episode I ripped open a pack and I got Matthews. Dude, he had a really good game for me. He threw up 16 fantasy points for me with 2 assists, 3 shots, and 5 hits. Pacioretty got another assist too. I want to strengthen my team, so I ripped open a new gold pack. Matt Duchene, don't tell producer Drew. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a really good pull. The Oilers look unstoppable. And Morgan Riley is a great pull. I wish I had him before tonight because he scored. It's getting more competitive too. I won in rookie division, so I got promoted to pro. Need all the points I can get. Become the GM of your own NHL hockey team. Set lineups, sell players, and make blockbuster trades. Take on me, Steve Dangle, take on Adam Wilde, take on Jesse Blake. We're all on it. All NHL playoffs. And it's all daily contests too, so you can join at any time. Today we got a playoff offer, a free 10-player pack. Download the NHL Fantasy Stars game and try to beat myself, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake today. Unless you're a pigeon. I can't make the sound. I can't do it. And now, back to the game that the Leafs lost. No! This was a tale of 3 games. A tale of the Leafs kicking the Panthers up and down the ice in their own barn while they're down 2-0. The second game was the Florida Panthers proving why they are the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions, and they defend their barn. The third game is debatable when it begins. You could say it begins at the beginning of the third period. At very least, it begins when Morgan Riley ties it at 4-4. That game, that third of the game, however you want to divvy it up, was even. This is a battle between 2 teams who deserve to be facing each other. Before we talk about exactly how this all broke down, I think I've discovered something about Leafs Nation. These are the hardest videos for me to make. Not videos after a loss. I'm very experienced, actually. It's videos after a loss where I feel like I am reacting more calmly than most of the fan base. Because you come for the yelly, screamy man, but also catharsis and reasoning, I think. And how do I feel? I have a buddy, Ross. I love Ross. He's not complicated at all. He just goes, Steve, how do I feel? He doesn't ask me specific questions. What's going on with this guy? What's going on? He just goes, how do I feel? Only ever after a loss, by the way. After a win, it's easy. You know how to feel. Hey, hooray. You won. Yay. When you lose, I don't know. Listen, was this a winnable game? Yeah, you bet. Is there a reason to be upset that the Leafs lost this game? Some might say choked or blew this game. Yeah, we're gonna get to it. Would it have been nice to go up 3-0 over the Florida Panthers with the third game being in Florida? Yeah, but I gotta say, I'm starting to question how many people actually watched the Panthers on their road to the Stanley Cup last year. If you thought this was going to be easy, you're nuts. If we had a time machine and we could go back to before the series even began, and I told you the Leafs would be up 2-1 after 3, you'd be thrilled. If I told you the Leafs would have, 13 goals past Sergei Bobrovsky in the first 3 games, you'd be thrilled. If I told you before the series that Joseph Wool would be starting, you'd be like, oh man, what did Matthew Tkachuk do? And I'd be like, it's Sam Bennett. And you'd be like, I should have had that one. Should have. You really should have. Now listen, that doesn't mean you should be complacent. Being up 2-1 is good. Hooray. It's okay to look at being up 2-1 as good. It objectively is. I don't think it's championship behavior to look at it as good enough, if that makes sense. Calling it good, good. Calling it good enough, bad. Here's what we're struggling with here. the Leafs do look different. They do. Like, even though this game happened the way it happened, they do look different. They feel different. They walk different. They talk different. We are the same. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, dude, I'm difficult on game days. I just am. So me, I'm a caffeine expert. I don't know if you know this. Like, I've gotten to know it over the years just a little bit. Caffeine isn't putting energy in you. It's tricking your body into releasing adrenaline, which explains a lot about caffeine. Yeah, I'm putting you on to some, yeah. This explains what, yeah, you're learning a lot about yourself. There's coffee and espresso, and espresso is viewed as stronger, and that's because it is. But a cup of coffee, generally speaking, has more caffeine in it than a shot of espresso. Listen to how I'm talking, I know. On a game day, I am typically 2 shots of espresso. That is what I'm on. It is one sometime in the morning, afternoon, like early afternoon. And then if the game is at 7 o'clock, I wait and I wait and I wait and I try to save it for about 5:30. Today, I switched it up. I had a coffee right around noon. And all day after that coffee, it felt like my body was trying to crawl out of my body. And I hated it a lot because I'm nervous. It's game day. I have 2 sets of nerves. I have nerves as a fan, and oh my goodness, how is this game gonna go? And I have nerves as, thousands of people are gonna watch me stream this, and then watch me scream like a lunatic after. And a lot of them are not there to see me have a good time. I didn't even have an espresso, like a second thing of coffee or caffeine or whatever before the game. No. The only thing that calmed me down before this game is a literal once in a lifetime event. My daughter took her first steps. She is never going to take her first steps again. These are the first ones. They're done. Ironically, I was holding up a mini stick and she walked toward it. That's my girl! And that was a nice distraction. She's pumped. She's pumped that she can walk. So, like, she's pumped. I'm in so much trouble. But anyway, a thought occurred to me. I've never been here before. The Leafs have 2 wins in the second round. They are halfway to winning a second round series. I think way too many people in the comments and everything are looking forward to the 3rd round in the Stanley Cup final. Friggin' calm down. If Steve Dangle is telling you to calm down twice. But I can't act like I've been here before. I haven't. The last time I was cheering for my hockey team in a round beyond the second was 2002. I was in elementary school. Now look at me. In a few years, I'll have more gray hair than anything else. A lot of you watching have literally never been there before. And I think that's why we're handling things the way we are. I've stopped myself from saying poorly. Oh, shoot. Well, you know what I mean, man. We're not doing this well. Because listen, Panthers win this game and you're upset and you're mad because now they're coming back. Well, no. Well, now you're upset and you're mad because 2-1 is not as good as 3-0. Well, yeah, but no. But what if they win and you're up 3-0? Well, then I'm going to be nervous that they're going to blow it. Do you think this is good for you or not? You're not going to believe this, but usually when I talk to my therapist, it's not about the Leafs. I know. But I want you to explain your rationale about the Leafs to yours. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to look at you funny, but they are going to start scribbling. I think 2 things can be true at the same time. This was a winnable game that the Leafs lost. And the Leafs are still in a really, really good position in this series against the reigning Stanley Cup champs. Let's start here. First shift, opening shift of the game. Who's out there? Did you notice? Me and Jesse were talking about this on the podcast. It's the Matthews line against the Barkov line. That answered the question. Matthews and Barkov are going head-to-head in Toronto. To start in Florida, Paul Maurice, who has last change, said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going Barkov versus Matthews. I am betting on my guy. Matthews stuffs him into a locker less than 30 seconds in. Matthews sets up Nyes, which sounds perfect because that's his name. Matthew Nyes scores 23 seconds in from number 23. Big start. Less than 6 minutes in. Max Pacioretty continuing this journey, gets it to John Tavares, goes around the net and hooks in a backhander wraparound. When do you ever see those? Whenever in the playoffs? Less than 6 minutes in, the Leafs have a 2-0 lead in Florida. This is not what anybody, even the greatest optimist, thought was going to happen. No, what you probably thought was going to happen was more along the lines of Alexander Barkov driving the net, and he makes a move, and Riley puts it into his own net. Leafs lead is cut to 1, and that's the moment. That's the moment that turns this whole game around. The hockey gods hate us! Well, we head into first intermission, and it's been a good game. Panthers took 2 penalties. Leafs took 2 penalties. AJ Greer takes a penalty against Bobby McMahon early in the second, and not only did the Leafs get a power play goal, but it's the top unit getting on the board. Marner, this was beautiful from Marner, fluttering it on, and Tavares with the Johnny Tavares tip, which you would expect. That, to me, is where the game shifts. The Leafs have the 2-0 lead. Panthers pull within 1. They're not able to do anything after that. The Leafs regain the 2-goal lead on the power play. Panthers pull within 1 less than 2 minutes later. Now, what changed in this game? The biggest change in this game, and it's gonna get missed. People are gonna be clinging on to the weirdest narratives over the next couple days, and I'm telling you to ignore them all. Matthews is gonna be a big one. I'm going to talk about it. I know he's not scoring goals. I know. Joseph Woll is going to be a big part of it. And there's maybe something there. I didn't love the 4th goal, but there's less there than you think. Morgan Riley is going to get a lot of stick on account of 2 goals went in off him. The biggest difference in this game, and it led to the Panthers kicking the Leafs up and down the ice for essentially the next at least 20 minutes. Maurice stuck the Lundell, Luostarinen, Marchand line on the Matthews line. Is the Lundell, Luostarinen, Marchand line good enough to fully neutralize the Matthews, Marner, Nyes line? I don't think so. But they're really, really, really good. And they've been the Panthers' best line this series. And if they can neutralize them just enough, what you get out of this, even if the Matthews line wins that matchup by a little bit, you get Barkov and company away from them. Can Matthews go head-to-head with Barkov? Yes, 100%. Can anybody else? I don't think so. They might do okay, but that's Barkov. That's Reinhart. And Rodriguez got bumped up to that line too. Maurice had the full blender out. Verhaeghe was on the 2nd line. He went with an entirely different look 4th line. Like, dude, yes, the Panthers won this game. Yes, they're back in this series. The series is 2-1. But the Leafs have these guys in hell. They got Paul Maurice in the lab with like flasks and beakers trying to figure this out. But figure it out, he did. Off a fortuitous bounce, Rodriguez puts it on. Carlo clears it out of the blue paint with a broken stick. Already, that's a penalty or penalty shot. You can't do that. Sam Reinhart jumps on it, shovels it in, but the call on the ice is no goal. We don't know. We watched the replay. Some Leaf fans are going to say this should have been goalie interference. Was it? I think it depends on who was working that night, honestly. I could see this maybe if you challenge it, getting called back in the regular season. I greatly approve of Berube not challenging this. I don't think you're winning that challenge. I thought the puck was loose enough. There was an argument there that maybe the puck is on one side of Woll's blocker and Reinhart pokes it in, and you can't poke a part of the goalie into the net along with the puck. I just don't think that's exactly what happened, and I think the Leafs would have been out of their mind challenging this for goalie interference. So it counts. And the unfortunate thing is a minute later, they score anyway. It's a nice play from Matthew Tkachuk, who is finding ways to stay relevant in this series. He's not skating well. If you look at when he has the puck, it's plays like this where he's standing along the blue line, he's standing behind the net on the power play, but this guy's having trouble moving here. But he makes a good play at the blue line and gets it to Bennett, and it's a tap in for Verhaeghe, 3-3. Now, as I look down at the Panthers' 4-3 goal, this does alter the way that I look at it. It's 2 guys playing their first game in this series, Nosek and Gadjevich. Nosek shoots it. What? It beats Joseph Woll, and that goal stinks. You have to have it, you have to have it, you have to have it. But now I look, and it is credited as a tip-in goal to Gadjevich. It wasn't obvious if he got a piece of it or not. He obviously did, and it threw off Woll just enough who did. Oh, he got part of it, man. But the Panthers take their first lead of this game. And it's not just that the Panthers were leading after 2. The Panthers had 9 shots, all at even strength in the second period. That's not mind-blowing. The Leafs had 3 shots, 2 at even strength. That's bad. After a first period where he outshot them 12-10. Bobrovsky returned to form in the later half of this game, and I think part of that has to do with he essentially got 20 minutes off. But was the game done? No, sir. Berube gets the blender out himself. Part of that had to do with Chris Tanev leaving the game for a few minutes. I was terrified. But he returned, looked no worse for wear. I'm not actually sure what happened there. But about halfway through the frame, Leafs running out of time. Brad Marchand has the puck. Nyes rips it off him. Matthews with a great read to send the puck to the other side of the ice. Leafs attack the net. There's chaos in front. Morgan Riley fires it on. And sweet redemption! He banks it off of Seth Jones and in. Jones looks skyward. Imagine being a defenseman that this happened to. LMAO! The Leafs tie it up, playoff Morgan Riley with his 4th of the run. And this game is going to, oh no! Max Pacioretty took a tripping penalty. Here's what's dumb about playoff officiating, and I'm not even going after this night's officiating crew. It's Wes McCauley, by the way. The Leafs are now 0-9 in the playoffs with him. That's a real stat. It's not even that. It's not even that. The Leafs had more power plays. The Panthers break the rules more often. That's why. Happy to explain. But you can get away with punching dudes in the face after every whistle. You can get away with cross-checking dudes during play and after every whistle. You can get away with slashing and poking and all sorts of nonsense. If you trip the puck carrier behind their net, they pretty much don't have a choice. Like, that's not you hurt a guy and it was dirty. That is, you're giving your team an unfair advantage to score a goal right now. Now, hurting a guy is giving your team an advantage eventually. But no, this is right now. Max Pacioretty's going to get that puck because he tripped Seth Jones. He's going to give it. It's the right call. And Matthews and Marner and Tanev and McCabe and Woll shut the door. They survive to overtime where they only have to kill a few seconds. And oh, dude. Woll was so good in overtime. Glove saves. Matthews had a really good chance off a funny bounce off of Holmberg's foot. Nyes with the partial break. That mythological pass from Benoit to Willie, who somehow bats it out of the air and But it's one fire drill of a shift from the Panthers, and it ends up on Marchand's stick, and he skates away from traffic, and I didn't want it. Here's the thing about the Panthers scoring on you. You don't want any of them to do it. It's like the Sens, like Adam Gaudette scores against you, you're like, oh, all right, well, good for him. Jake Sanderson, good player. Panthers, it's like, look down at the name who scored. Oh, well, I don't like him. The next guy, I don't like him either. That guy, really don't like him. But the guy at the tippy top of the list, Brad Marchand, with his 12th playoff goal against the Leafs. And it's an overtime winner in Florida. And gosh darn it, if it doesn't go straight off Morgan Riley and in. The Panthers win this game. It's a series. It was always going to be a series. The Leafs take a 2-1 lead in Game 4, which is better than the opposite. Questions. This isn't a question, it's just Brad Marchand talking. Marchand on the Leafs and how they will prepare for Game 4. You saw how they prepared for that game. They have that killer instinct now. I hate when other players talk about the Leafs like a fan. You shush. This was just very funny from a Canucks fan, Wyatt Arndt. I just watched Roberto Luongo celebrate a Brad Marchand playoff overtime goal, and I'm sick to my stomach. Yeah. This, to me, is the big one. How many more excuses is Matthews going to get? I don't want to hear how good he is defensively. His goal scoring has evaporated. Okay. Yeah. He's got 2 goals. Yeah. He had 2 assists. They only scored 4 goals. He assisted on half the goals. He had 5 hits. He made the Panthers completely juggle their entire lineup. He was getting shots. He was getting chances as well. The top unit scored. He was out there. He's part of it. Leafs scored 4 goals in this one. He had 2 assists and was on the ice for 3 of them. Not bad for a guy who the Panthers are planning their entire game around. There was one play, and it was a nothing play in this game. I think it was later in this game. I want to say it was in the 3rd period that actually gave me some hope. There was a Florida defender on him while he's streaking into the zone. He has the puck. He did the little toe drag release, Coach Chippy, like he always does. And it was blocked. Went into the corner. Steve, why does that give you faith? To me, it's a belief thing. It's a confidence thing. If he doesn't believe in himself, if he doesn't have the confidence in his shot, if he's hurt, if he's too hurt to do the things that he usually does, he doesn't even try to do that. But he tried. It didn't work, but he tried. The playoffs, series, they're long. Even the short ones are long. Winning 4 games is hard. Beating the Panthers 4 times is going to be Herculean. But over the stretch of the series, if Matthews keeps playing this way, the point of hockey is to outscore your opponent. That's how they award wins. When Austin Matthews is on the ice, the Leafs outscore the Panthers. And he's not a passenger to Marner or to Nyes. He is what gives those guys the room that they need. They earn it themselves as well, but having Matthews out there is huge. I don't think there needs to be a villain after every Leafs loss. There doesn't need to be a guy whose fault it is. Have you ever watched the Florida Panthers? I'm not gonna lie to you. I am like borderline annoyed of how many people are like, this Lundell's pretty good. What? The Panthers went to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. They won last year. Anton Lundell. What? This is not a rookie. This has been a cornerstone of an elite team in this league for 3 years now. Yeah, okay, he has a career high of 45 points. Here's how the Florida Panthers have performed in Anton Lundell's 4-season career. President's Trophy, Stanley Cup final, Stanley Cup winners this year. The Leafs had one bad period. One. And it was the second period, and you could argue it cost them the game. This to me was a lot like game 4 against the Sens. It's another road game. It was hard fought. Went to overtime. Leafs had opportunities to win. They had opportunities to win earlier in the night, and they had opportunities to win in overtime. But ultimately, they come up short. You shouldn't be losing games where you're up 2-0. You shouldn't be losing games where you're up 3-1. But they tied it in the third. They had a huge kill at the end of the third. They had chances to win it in overtime. Other team won it off a bounce, off your defenseman who was doing their job, and a good one. The puck fluttered over Wool's head at the speed of smell. It's a game of bounces. Leafs had 2 bad ones. Panthers had 1. Move on to game 4. I'm actually not worried about the Leafs in spite of the loss. Is that normal? Is it normal? Yes. Is it common? No. There is a huge difference between the two, but I think you're doing it right. So, what did you think of that game? Leave a comment in the comment box down below. And don't forget to come to Sport Check at Maple Leaf Square tomorrow around 11:30 a.m. Then let's say till 1:30. We're going to be recording the new Steve Dangle podcast. Me, Adam Wilde, Jesse Blake. Come watch the show. Come say hi. We're going to have cheers this time. Come check it out. Maple Leaf Square, the Sport Check at Maple Leaf Square. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Shout out to producer Drew, who has to stay on the stream with me for the whole game and then edits these after. You're a gem.